so much of material, so much of tangible things, so much of physical power, and give it away and spend it in order to feel good. Feeling good doesn't get you anywhere. It's like window shopping. Behind the window, in the glass, you see all this beautiful dress or a statue or some toys or some computer or a car. You look at it every time you pass, it feels so good. Then you keep going that road. By looking at it, you become a habit of looking at these objects. And at one point, you decide to have them. Now that's when you get into action. Okay? You spend time and money, then you go to the saving, try to borrow money in order to get that dress, get that object. The same with the spirituality. And that's another wise. As Baha'ullah says, you get into action, actual actions in which you lose time and money. You get humiliated sometimes, accused, you're jailed for it. You will not become spiritual. You want to have that quality. Because when you die, that's a part of you. That's the only thing you can take from this life with you. If it becomes a part of your soul, if it becomes a part of your body, it will have to stay here. You cannot die on the next life as a physicist. No. There's no object to know physics. But understanding of the physics can go with you. If you gain some wisdom from physics or chemistry or science, that goes with you. That is what's going to stay. But not the actual knowledge of it. It's totally useless. It's like somebody coming from a country, a Zulu chief, let's say, from Africa, with all his experience about how to live the life in those areas, which are respectively a huge experiment. None of it is useful in Canada. But because of doing what he has done, he has gained certain wisdom. That wisdom can help him in Canada to convert it and divert it into something useful. So we have to understand, whenever we felt good, we're not doing a spiritual. One of my relatives, he always says, "Oh, my son doesn't listen to me. Look, all my wealth, all my money, all of it is for my son." I said, yeah, I believe you, but you're not giving him nothing. You're saying that when you die, he's going to get it from you. So the condition for him to have these things is when you don't want them, really. Don't try to feel generous and feel good because you think you want to leave these things to your son. You're talking about a feeling, a decision that might you do, and because of that you're feeling that your son owes you to you now. That as if you've done it. You haven't done nothing. You're just talking. But if a day you get separated from all this money and you give some of it to the son, and you know he's going to waste it, then I can see that, all right, you've given something to him. But until such time, by thinking that this is his and all that, what I'm trying to say is that a spirituality and a spiritual quality is a practical matter. You can't just be thinking and planning, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that, and then certain feeling comes to you, and because of that you think, okay, I'm a spiritual and everybody else is not. No. Most of us that I know of in my life, I have not seen them to have one single quality in them. They're all cheating themselves. They're all thinking they do. Among the Baha'is, I have seen few. Yes, I have. I've seen that in Mr. Gambari in India. I've seen that in Mr. Mubahid, who died in India. I saw that in Mr. Kambiz Sadegh, the member of the National Spiritual Assembly of Iran. I saw that. Okay. I saw it in Ali Merchant. I think he's the chairman or the secretary of the National Spiritual Assembly of India. For a little life that I've experienced with people, I've seen those. Yes. I've seen it in Canada, and many people. I saw it in John Henry. This man was feeling spiritual. I saw in Vincent Twardzik. I saw it, the boys in Thunder Bay. I saw that practically they were possessing a power that when they entered the meeting one day in Montreal, two of them, young kids, 18, 19, 20, they don't know much about Baha'i faith, but they were involved in teaching extensively for sometimes. We entered in the meeting in Montreal. It was Environment Day or something at the Baha'i Center in Montreal. They were talking about David Suzuki or something. When these two boys entered, all these people, for no reason, were just turning their eyes against them. Essentially, the meeting was disrupted today. The gravity that they had, it just surrounded everyone. I said to my friend Nazrul, I said, see that? That's what attracts people, a real thing. Feeling is good. But if you're coming from the front, because Baha'u'llah says the front of the war, okay, that's where the teachers are, those who teach, and these boys were teaching. Therefore, they had such a gravity in them that attracted all. And definitely, it has nothing to do with the West or the East. I might have to add to say that, based on the trend that I'm looking, the people of Canada, I haven't been a lot among the Australian or other places because I've been here, definitely compared to people in Iran or Dubai or Turkey that I've been, Canadians are so close to it. They're ready to grasp it, as if they've passed this class of the materialism. And one of the teachings that most of the Canadians, they follow the best than other people, is that Baha'u'llah says, worry about today, don't worry about future. Don't worry about too much worry about what might happen, what the future is in. Live today. And this casual way of living and not looking at the future economically, many Canadians are, they have good time today. Many of them, especially poor people. You give them $100 today, tomorrow's all gone. It comes back again, doesn't have anything. This is what Jesus Christ and Baha'u'llah says, worry about today and don't worry about tomorrow. It's very hard for a man from the Middle East to think this way. So you can see that the trend, evolution of the spirituality in a very primitive way, it is beginning around here. Many Canadians, I've seen it, the medium classes, they don't go after big money to spend a lot of time in this immigrant day work Saturday, Sunday, 24 hours. Canadians say, nah, we're 8 hours, we gotta go home and be for ourselves. They don't work Saturday, they don't work Sunday. It just shows that material has got certain effect in them. So I've seen this country, relatively speaking, is Baha'i, essentially, compared to the other places. Because Shoaib Effendi says Baha'i is a relative matter. So being a Baha'i is relative. Relative to Abdul Baha, there is no Baha'i. Relative to the past, the whole planet is Baha'i. Relative to the present time, I see Canadians are Baha'is, Australians are Baha'is, most Americans are Baha'is. Many of the European countries, England, they are Baha'is, because there are things that these people follow. For one thing, they spend their time to create inventions of medicines, a lot of that. Who's benefiting from it? Everywhere in the world. Those guys who invent these things, not always for money, not at all. Those who invest on them and make them product of it, they are for money. But those who actually invent these things and discover these things is pure love for the inventions, for the love of the research or discovery and all that. And these things are definite sign of there's no economical intrigue in it. That's not why they do it. They just do it because they love it. So when your benefit goes to the rest of the people, that's a sign of spirituality. There's social leadership in the world by creating democracy, which is a lot of problem with it anyways. But it's one step higher than the rest of the world. So I can conclude that firmly, Canadians, Australians, and Americans, just three countries, are definitely Baha'is, to the great affinity to the Baha'ullah. Baha'i faith in Canada is made, the Canadian system is made, they have not studied Baha'i faith, but there's so much affinity between the system here and what the Baha'ullah says. It seems Baha'ullah in the East revealing the idea, and the people in the West not knowing, they're practicing it, and one point they're getting together. This is the point, I'm here now. They are inheriting the conquerors on high. It's amazing that the plan of God is for the West to understand Baha'i faith, but he has to bring it in Iran. It seems he's disappointed from Iranians, because the sun to bring there is going to burn everyone. Baha'i faith is like sun. It comes down, what sun does it? The heat of it, it burns everyone. Nobody in Iran accepts Baha'i faith. Before they didn't accept it, now the regime has changed, they found out Islam is wrong. Do they accept the Baha'i faith? They said, no, we like Canada and, no religions and whatnot, so nobody's going towards it. Some might. But the case is not with the Canadian though. They're kind of looking for some sound answers. But surely they understand, smart enough they are, that the ways of the path of Christianity and Islam and all of that is not the answer, it's not a practical answer to what they are dealing with. This is depression, which is the stress and all that. They're looking for some other answers. I know Baha'i faith is an answer. Why they're not getting it? Because we're not good enough as a Baha'i to study this, to come down and give it to the people. Very well. Time is 12:43. And I shall stop this session, which was an introduction to the spiritual attributes, qualities, and virtues. And I'm going to name them what they are and try to bring one example to demonstrate what these attributes are, live example in our contemporary time by an actual martyr, by many martyrs. I try to bring the name of those so you can familiarize yourself. How far can we go as an ordinary man to reach this state of these people and to understand them at least? They're both from the East and the West. So long. Hope I'm alive to continue this. Thank you.